I think it's high time we speak more openly about career planning, and having a plan for yourself. And I'm not saying that you should have everything figured out at 21, because I haven't, and probably not, like very limited number of people had. But I think, like, just like you're reviewing the plan for a project, what helped me is reviewing the plan for myself. Right, I always try to think like years ahead, because I don't want to end up, being, I don't know what, the value of it has grown. I mean, the realization of people that how valuable it has grown. I think, it helped me from day one. I think that was something that travel and working in different countries really helped you establish in you. I think working with different perspective, different cultures just helps you get different perspective, um, on things, and build that emotional intelligence. So I think it is important, even, and I know that technical people sometimes just saying, I'm here to write code, and exactly, yeah. I think that's the beauty of people with diverse experience, is that we can easily help each other out. I think, I always thought that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vibe It Up, the podcast where we explore the dynamic world of tech. I'm your host, Dan Tudorache, and I bring over 20 years of experience in the software development industry, wearing multiple hats as a solution architect, leadership coach, trainer, and now psychologist too. Now, you might be wondering, what's the vibe all about? Well, the vibe is not just from the podcast. It's a community, a space where we connect with tech professionals, from seasoned experts to visionary directors of engineering, solution architects, software architects, and inspiring leaders. In each episode, we explore the personal and professional journeys of our guests. So I have to me today Konrad Jarocinski, and I will let you present yourself, Konrad. Hello.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, pleasure to be here. I'm Konrad. I'm co-founder and CEO of DataGems. We are building a data collaboration platform for product teams. I spent almost 15 years now in data AI and innovation space, both as a consultant and also running companies, and now co-founding one. Yeah, pleasure to be here, and looking forward to it.
Welcome, Conrad. I'm happy to have you here, and I'm curious, what's the current role about? What do you actually do now?
Yeah. I think a CEO role at the early stage startup is pretty much like wearing very different hats at the same time, right? We have a small team, so it pretty much ranges from operational things that have to be done, to fundraising, product management, hiring. I don't code actively anymore, so I'm not that much involved on the tech side, but pretty much everything around it, apart from coding, is also on my plate.
Mm, okay. And it's something that this path from coding and tech until what you do now, it was a willing, or it was mostly more in the that you should do that, or you must do that area.
Yeah, no, I know that a lot of people end up going on sort of like a leadership path, from tech, because there's sometimes not a clear way for them to progress, and they end up becoming managers, which is not always like a natural fit. I think at some point I just decided that it's actually my preferred route, going a more soft skills way, and sort of transitioning into more project manager role at the very beginning, then sort of team leadership roles. So yeah, I think it felt natural for me. Just with time, I decided that I always have been sort of a bridge between more tech people and business people, because I think I could always speak like both language and translate one for another, which proved very helpful in my career. So sort of build my first years of being a leader around that, being that bridge.
Mm, awesome. Awesome. And how did you start in this tech domain? Did you do the university in software development, computer science, or did you have a different background?
Yeah, so my I did university both in Poland and in the UK, and I think just like I was a bridge between tech and business, my studies were also some on that note. So a bit of tech, a bit of engineering, and a bit of business studies. So I was trying to sort of get the best of the two worlds from the very beginning, I guess. Yeah, so I did a bachelor's degree in Poland, then double diploma in the UK. After UK, I got an internship in Spain, and yeah, then ended up traveling almost 10 years since then. Um, for work. So I started off as a consultant in a business intelligence company. Worked with many clients both in Spain, then later in the US for almost like 4 or 5 years. So definitely have seen both Fortune 500 as well as smaller companies, how they work with data, and yeah, and slowly but surely moved over to that software side, more leadership side as well.
Mm, nice, nice. And it was something that you made out of passion. This, I don't know, the computer science and things. It was out of passion or out of okay, you should do that because it's a trend and everyone does it.
I guess I was thinking where to find sort of a place for myself, and I didn't see myself actively coding for a long time. So I wanted to make sure that I also have that a bit of business background. But yeah, I always felt that, especially in the beginning, that I needed to do um, more tech side to better understand what other my team members will be going through, and learn my ways through it, and understand what's really under the hood. So it felt very useful for to be in early days, doing SQL, doing Python, doing R. So did all of that a little bit. So but at some point, I think I just decided it's gonna be better to stick to more business areas.
Okay, okay. So you find the passion in combining those two.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember back in the days because I've studied also computer science and computer engineering, and after that, my the first master studies were also in distributed system, and the second was into project management, and it was a completely different world. And I've seen there's a palpable difference between those two worlds, the business one and the technical one. And yeah, it's nice that you had from the start this double view on the things, and I think it can help anyone to see anything from multiple perspectives, to say
I agree. I
say
agree.
like that.
And also, like having that long term view. I think I don't know. I think where I was studying, no one really chatted with me about what's the long term view for my career. And obviously, you cannot really plan everything, right? But if you have plans for yourself, and even their long term plans, and you set up milestones for yourself, I think it's for me it made things easier. Right, I always thought like it would be great to lead a company one day. It would be great to run a company right one day, right? I never knew if it's going to happen or not, right? Yeah, there were different path for me at some point in my life, but I ended up doing so. So yeah, I guess that sort of a long term milestones and plans did help.
Yes, yes, indeed. And if you are to reflect back in the past, there are some, I don't know, pivotal moments when you had to take a decision, an important decision, and how that shaped your future.
100%. Yeah, I think there were quite a few, and I think there are both decisions related as well as people related. So decisions related, I think going um, leaving consulting for at least for a time being, but because I was doing consulting for those 5 years as I mentioned, and then I headhunter found me and offered a job in Dubai at Emirates, which was an internal job, and it definitely pushed me in sort of that leadership path. So that was I could have selected more technical project at that time, like tech leadership still, but definitely more technical, and probably my the whole direction would go in a different way, but I think that was a good call, but also where I also I was happy with mentors in my life. I was lucky with mentors in my life, I think. First one was very early when I was interning, and so that was another, so probably taking a step back, taking an internship in Burgos in Spain, which wasn't like a popular choice because everyone would be choosing Barcelona or Madrid or other, a city which is more vibrant with better weather, right? In early 20s, that's sometimes, the criteria that you go after. I went for smaller city, but great placement in the end, where I met my first mentor, Enrico, who was my first real boss. So that helped me a lot, and pushed me already in sort of a young age to do stuff that was outside of my comfort zone. Let's put it this way. So learned Spanish thanks to him also, quite fast. So that was first decision. Second decision was, yeah, going moving to Dubai, going to work with Emirates, going more towards leadership path, where I also met another good mentor and now good friend of mine, my boss, Peter, that helped me also grow into a leadership shoes. So I think those two decisions quite early. I mean early, still early, right? Because it was I went to work for Emirates back in 2016, I think, early 2016. So it's been a while.
Mm, yeah, yeah, indeed. And it seems that you've oriented your life towards career, mostly of your time, journey, and so forth. How is it now? It's more stable towards a balance between life and career, or it's more inclined to career?
I guess, look, I mean, being completely honest, right? Running a startup is not a job for everyone, right? And I think it's completely different. I do have a family now, and but at the same time, my startup is I have a son, but I also have a startup, which obviously are completely two different things. And but it's running a startup is intense. So finding that way to really um, like build that routine for yourself, I think is really important. And not I think not a lot of people speak up about it in terms of how to best do it, right? I think I'm growing into it, and it's been a year almost for me now.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, all the luck and support and everything you need in this journey, because I know when I started the startup and the company that I founded, it was the same thing, and the life with kids and family,
Absolutely.
it's not
Yeah.
that suitable with the startup life.
Yeah.
So there are two
Yeah, but
lives
exactly.
you need to combine.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, definitely having a help of someone close. in this journey is vital. I think it's not surprising that I would mention that without a good partner in your life, sometimes it's if you're having a family and doing a startup world at the same time, is just difficult. And I'm lucky to have both a great wife and also now a great company that I'm working on. So yeah, really helpful.
Yeah, yeah, and that leads me to thinking of the support system that you have, and back in the days, and also now, you felt like you had people around you that could help you with different things, or that you can go up to and say, "Help! I need help."
I think it depends on the company. I think there was a lot of stuff that I had to figure out on my own, and I didn't mind that. I think I in some cases I sort of preferred that, to figure out on my own, make few mistakes, but also learn from it. I always preferred learning by doing, but I did. Yeah, I think like mentors that I mentioned were really important because I knew that I could really depend on them in tough moments, which really helped, especially in early days as a leader. I think that those mentors are crucial, and I those two people definitely impact me the most, and help me sort of get into a mindset where I also want to give back, and anyone that I hire that is more junior, I would definitely always spend time and give give guidance if they want, if they need. I'm always there.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, and it leads me back to the mentorship. And you mentioned you had the mentors back in the days. You still have mentors now?
Yeah, I think what I'm now finding the most valuable is having a group of peers or mentors. So we try to support each other, between entrepreneurs or leaders in the companies. I think so. It's a different mentorship back in the day where I was obviously like really not experienced or growing into a role, and I needed some help. I think now what I most value is having sparring partners on different topics. So I know I can help out in some areas, but also have colleagues and friends that we can talk through ideas and challenges that each of us face, and help each other out. I think that is really useful in the startup world.
Mm. Okay, from this side, do I understand that it's one of your values to have a network, a support network, that you could collaborative work towards your, I don't know, not only your problems, their problems, but do things together and advise and work on towards the same things, even that they don't have an impact on your company or they are not members of your company.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the beauty of people with diverse experience, is that we can easily help each other out. I think I always thought that I'm not gonna be the person that knows it all. I was always a generalist, as a person, so there were just I wouldn't go past through some levels of knowledge in some areas, because it's not probably the most efficient, right? But I'm always happy to help in the areas I have experience. Yeah, definitely have been spending a lot with early founders in the past few months, sharing my experience from both fundraising, but also setting up the company, and also, yeah, getting help from people that have done it as well. So yeah, I think it works both ways.
Yeah, and to pass me this things, and I do remember back in the days when I was also consultant. Which thing do you most value? It's not that you most value, but what do you recommend to get more expert on a certain technology and be top best of that technology, or more inclined into more generalist and know more, maybe more than average for some different things, but inclined to more generalist?
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I think it all depends on what you feel right for yourself. I think what makes you happy. I've seen a lot of people trying to become specialists and then regretting that, but also met a lot of people that both are happy with their job and also are in good companies being specialists, right? So I always felt that um being generalist is not easy. I think sometimes it's difficult because building up the sort of the resume that leads to better, like a chance to get hired. If you're jumping between different topics and different areas, then it's sometimes just difficult to get hired, right? But it also proves that your adaptation skills, I guess, and the ways that you can face something new, right? I always thought about it from this angle that always helped me to face new challenges that I haven't seen before, and potentially for some specialists might be just more difficult. So I think it's just whatever suits you best. I strongly believe that there's space for both specialists and generalists in both in startups and in bigger companies. um yeah.
Mm, but more inclined to startups. Do you think the roles are more towards generalist people or specialist?
Yeah, I think in the early days you probably need a mix of both, ideally, because you need at least a couple of generalists to run things, because there will be some stuff that is not obvious and someone needs to pick it up, and specialists would be okay. Why me, right? So just like me, I think my co-founder is also a generalist type, so we can sort of pick up things that are not necessarily sometimes what you've done in life, but in early days of the startup, someone has to do it regardless. But also you need specialists to push really hard and deliver products and build products, right? So without someone that is also a specialist on the team, I think the mix is something that I've seen work quite well.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. In the hope that you have the budget to employ more people. Also specialists and journalists. Okay, thank you. And in this journey that you have and that you see to other people, and your inclination towards more general things to view the problems and the things that need to be solved from different perspectives. It requires, as you said, a higher level of adaptability and flexibility, maybe. uh, how do you see in nowadays the importance of emotional intelligence skills in technical people?
I think the value of it has grown. I mean, the realization of people that how valuable it has grown. I think it helped me from day one. I think that was something that travel and working in different countries really helped you establish in you. I think working with different perspective, different cultures just helps you get different perspective um, on things and build that emotional intelligence. So I think it is important. Even I know that technical people sometimes just saying I'm here to write code, and I sort of see a lot of people still saying that. But I guess the more international the companies or products become, the more it's important to have that also as being a team member. And then just have being respectful towards others is a start, and understanding that we all have different habits.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you have seen a lot of people that needed to jump from the technical role they have to a more people role, team leading, project management, or management roles. What do you think they miss in the first phase when they do this jump? If they don't have the at least the emotional intelligence skills developed.
Yeah, I think there's definitely that. Um, I think from the team leadership perspective, some things that are not obvious are definitely motivating the team, and also I think what I probably struggled with at the beginning was that when I was promoted from the team, I suddenly had people that I worked with as peers being reporting to me. So this is something that might happen, right? Obviously, with promotion, internal promotion, that happens, but working through that and making sure that you establish that working relationship that will help you guide them and also show them that you're becoming the leader that they need. I think it's important to work through it on your own. I think this is also seek help internally with your manager, how to best establish. But that's something that people sometimes just forget about in early days of their tech leadership is how do you step into a role without breaking things, and that's very important. um, yes, I think motivation is a big one. Understanding what drives people, and really spending time chatting with them on different levels, on personal level, on work level, because this helped me immensely when I just spend more time. It's definitely different type of motivation you have to apply for a person that has a family and has a different working lifestyle than a person that is early in their career. They want to work as much as possible, to learn as much as possible, and they don't mind crazy hours sometimes. So yeah, I think that's important.
Mm, yeah, and what crossed my mind now is the coaching skills and social skills that you have, because of course there are multiple ways of leadership, multiple styles of leadership, starting from the tough ones, which are more inclined to dictatorial styles of leadership, towards democratic ones, coaching, visionary, and so on. But it's important how genuine you are and how much time do you give for the people you have in your team, to listen to them, to be to care about their emotions, their feelings, their needs, their desires, in terms of what they do, and support them in any way you can possibly do. Because yeah, as founders or managers, we cannot give them all the time what they want, but it's important at least to listen to them, to try, or I don't know, put them in contact with someone, as a coach or mentor, or someone else that they could help them. And yes, it's there are the two important skills, at least when you have a team on your own. And think of that. Which, if you were to be a mentor for someone, which qualities would you, I don't know, grow in the first phase in them?
Mm, interesting. I think ability to listen. I think that's something that I'll usually pick up on. mm, and it's not yes, as you also touched on, it's not super obvious for a person that steps into leadership role, just to focus on that. So that's something that I active listening and being able for people to really depend on also on your guidance sometimes. um yeah, I would say that this is that, and conflict resolution. That's the second thing. Staying, keeping the cool when the situation gets really bad. Um, because you might think it's bad, but it can even get worse unless you really learn your ways of how to handle things, right, like that. So conflict resolution, especially with things people related, right, people, you still need to find a way, especially in not only in bigger organizations, in startups as well. People have bad day, right? How do you work around that? How do you keep them together? How do you make sure that um, it doesn't fall apart? Simply, yeah.
Yes, yes, indeed. And uh, this could also help on having a good um, organizational environment, and everything you set up in terms of emotional trust, and that safety space you create toward that, it will give you more also authority, because you are there for them, but you are their leader, but it will give you more leverage on the things that you want to do with the team, and they will trust you in the end because you trust them. Yes, yes. I've asked you, if you were to build a new team now, and based on what you said on the qualities that you will mentor someone, what are the other qualities you will look up into someone that will be forming your team, and to people that will get into your team to create the environment that you want and the setup that you want?
Yeah, good question. I think given the state of my company, I would definitely look for people that really buy into our vision. I think being as crazy about the problem we are solving as I am, so finding people that also see the problem, not treat it as another startup job that there is a nice tech to build, right? I think I try to center our team around people that see a problem, understand the problem, and can be passionate about solving it as much as I am. So this is definitely the step one. I would say looking for people with an experience. I think this is often overlooked. Looking for people with an experience at this stage of the company where I'm at, right? Because I have a lot of experience from my colleagues. They hired, I don't know, uh, employee number 100 at Meta or something like that, or that work in really big brands, or they were a senior product manager at Meta, but at this stage, Meta was a completely different company than your startup is right now. And while they learn a lot, they obviously know a lot. They might not be the best fit for what you currently need, right? You might just need someone that grew a startup from 0 to 1. And that's what you should be looking for. And I think that's definitely a lesson for the stage of startup that I'm at. Not just to hire people that um, worked in best companies, but also the sort of the stage of the startup is an important fit.
Yeah. Yes, the different stages of the companies and teams leads me to the thought that in the bigger companies like Meta, Google, or Amazon, or any other tech company, they already have the processes put in place. They already have management teams that support their processes and grow and always contribute to them. And it's not a continuous change like in the startup, but in the startup we are faced with having nothing and needed to build something. So yeah, I guess the quality is more inclined to building from scratch and problem solving and figuring out what works for us, not for Meta, will give us more value. than just applying what works for Meta here, and seeing at the point that there's no point of importing that process. I don't know, that way of work or something like that. And yes, yes, and also this could lead to different team dynamics, conflicts, communication problems, and so on. Yeah. Yeah, I have a questions on the a quick questions. If you were having a dinner with someone from tech, dead or alive, who would you choose and why?
I think that's not going to be super original, but I think Elon Musk. I think a person that pushed technology and innovation so hard in that many areas. I think they're just even spending 5 minutes with that kind of person. It can take your mind or the way you think about it into a completely different phase. I think this is. I mean, you can read books, right, about him. There's been a great book released recently that is quite detailed, but I think um, people like that have seen it all, they can with a single with even spending a few minutes can skyrocket your idea or startup about something that you haven't think about. So work wise, definitely, that would be Elon.
Yes, yes, and I must admit you're not the only one who picked up Elon, and just because his innovation skills and the personality type towards risking almost everything sometimes into have implementing an idea that is crazy enough to say like that. Yes, and sticking on the same page, there are some resources or something that you could recommend to our audience, books, videos, I don't know, that also have influenced maybe your career too.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think on innovation side, because I ended up also teaching innovation at the university that I graduated, and there were a few books that definitely impacted me. I think Lean Startup is while it's um, already a well-known book. I still think it's one of the ones that really helped me. Also, in changing the mindset into validating quicker sprint, the design sprint by the guys from Google Ventures. I think this is something, regardless whether you're gonna work for a startup or a big corporate. That's something um, that I would suggest taking a read on. Um, yeah, I think those two books. There are quite a few books on product that I did read. Um, I don't think there's one particular one that I can think of right now, but yeah, I would say Lean Startup and mm, yeah.
Hmm. Thank you, and that's very interesting that you brought up to this the part that you're also university innovation professor. So what, I don't know, what are the three main things that you want your audience from the university to live after your course?
I think one that is not an obvious one is that, at least maybe it's more local to my university or universities in Poland. I think my faculty historically has been supporting a lot of big corporates with their students, and I always try to make talk openly about my startup journey, but also working for big corporates, and I want them to have both perspectives. So that is and that is actually, when you're young, when you don't have a family, it's actually also a good time to start, maybe start a company, or at least join a startup, um, because it's probably easier than when you're in, I don't know, in your mid 30s, or later. So that's one. I think the second thing is sort of, what are the what are the things that will help you succeed in innovation space, and what are the frameworks that you can use, right? I mentioned Sprint, which is definitely something that students can easily pick up, and even I had students, using that in their first companies, which is exactly what I wanted them to be doing. And yeah, I think third thing is just, being adaptive to change, and really showing examples of companies that didn't innovate, showing the failure stories, not just talk about the ones that succeeded, because we hear about them a lot, but really analyze the companies that also failed to innovate, and essentially, stop being relevant.
Mm. Yes, yes, indeed. And for me, everything you said, or mostly, led me to personality type, because as we are, as leaders, as person, as founders, there are few or more maybe inclined towards innovation, as you mentioned, but other personality types are more inclined to conservative, because they don't want to risk, they don't want to, I don't know, fail, or there are multiple reasons why they don't go towards innovation. And that's why I'm doing this into my sessions and my programs with the students and the clients I have. It's more toward the personality, and starting from the personality type, we build upon how to be more innovative, how to change your personality in order to meet the requirements of a founder role, maybe a manager, maybe a team leader, or everything it needs to be change inside you when you are there, because it starts from us, and and not externally. My voice. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. And for the final thoughts, as you prepare for closing up, as is there a particular, I don't know, piece of advice or insight you would like to leave with our audience now?
I think it's high time we speak more openly about, career planning, and having a plan for yourself. And I'm not saying that you should have everything figured out at 21, because I haven't, and probably not, like very limited number of people had. But I think, like, just like you're reviewing the plan for a project, what helped me is reviewing the plan for myself. Right, I always try to think like years ahead, because I don't want to end up, being, I don't know, at some stage in my life, and really wanting to make a change, but not having like enough experience or enough knowledge in something that will be stopping me. Right, I think that's, just like, your the analogy with a train, and making sure that the track is there in front of you, right? So making sure that you build up, that runway for you, is, career wise, is also important. That's something that I also try to leave my students with, is that it's not about figuring it out just now, but having a plan, that will make you happy work wise, is something important.
Mm, yes, indeed, and actually, that's why I've built the programs that I've built towards a career, because when I was a student, and even in a younger age, I didn't had something like that, a plan or career or mentor to guide me. Okay, where do you want to go? I don't know. To do tech, what part of tech? There are multiple multiple areas and zones of development, engineering, um, technologies, and so on, business types. You can now do vision AI, you can now do text and the other part, language AI, you can do automotive, whatever, medical devices. There are a lot of business in tech where you can grow, but people in the start don't know, because they say, okay, we are focused on technology. Okay, the technology is a mean to get to do something, but more than that, what's the goal? What do you want to build? What brings more joy and life in yourself? To go and select the business type that you want to build, and business application and applications, and not the how to build it with the what technology. Of course, there's more maybe joy or something like that to do front end, where you can actually see something in there moving, and the clients also have impact on how they work with that. But for me, it was the back end part which brought me more joy. And it's the same for everyone. Everyone has his own direction, but what I want to say is that more decision we get for ourselves, for our future, where do you want to get, and making steps toward that direction, rather than being just company driven objects. Because yes, it's difficult for us. Maybe in time we will realize. I For me it was 10 years or 15 years after I started to start my career. But in the end, yes, we it's in our responsibility, mine, yourself, and other people that have been through this process to guide the new generation. And for me, it's a joy to do that. Yeah, thank you very much, Conrad. And if you want to provide information on how listeners can connect with you, if they have any questions after the podcast, you can say here or share me.
Sure. Yeah, I think LinkedIn is always fine. Happy to connect via LinkedIn and answer any questions.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Vibe It Up. I hope you enjoyed our insightful conversation with Conrad. Before we go, I want to extend a big thank you to you, Conrad, our guest, for sharing your valuable experience and perspectives. So, if you, our listeners, have been inspired or have burning questions after this episode, I encourage you to connect with us. You can find me more about the Vibe It Up on our YouTube, LinkedIn, and other channels. So, thank you very much, Conrad, again, and have a great day.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Thank you.